Hey guys, it's Aria here and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be here with you today. For those of you who've been getting to know me, you'll know that I'm super passionate about helping women empower their fertility naturally, and I've just hired myself a fertility coach to help get me pregnant in the next 90 days. So today I'm going to be speaking to you about what my health coach and I spoke about in weeks 9 and 10 of the health coaching program, and I'm hoping that you'd be able to get some useful information that can help you on your journey to conceive as well. So let's done so already, please subscribe to my video down below, give it a big thumbs up, and let me know in the comments what you're liking about these videos, and if there's anything specific that you'd like to see. I'd love to take your feedback on board and I'd really like to hear from you. Okay, let's get into it, guys. In week 9 we spoke about reading food labels, which is really important if you want to get away from a diet high in processed food and you want to get back to eating clean foods that are as natural as possible. So first of all, guys, you'll really want to take note of the ingredients list when reading food labels. The ingredients will typically be listed in order of quantity in the product. And if you have any intolerances such as wheat or dairy or nuts or anything like that, they'll also be listed in that food label as well. You also want to look out for any complicated chemical names or preservatives with numbers and things like that on them, because that's taking away from the natural product, and we really want to minimize any sort of preservatives, food colorings, artificial sweeteners or anything like that in our diet. Now, I suppose one thing that I just wanted to mention, I've actually got a little app that's really helped me with food labels, because sometimes you'll be reading a food label and it might say preservative 296 or something like that, and you sort of go, well, what's preservative 296? I mean, who knows what that is? I got this handy little app called Food Additives. I'm not sure if you can see it just up there. So basically, if you're in the shopping centre and you're having a look at a food label and there's a number on the back that you just don't quite understand what it is, or there's something on the back and you don't quite know what it is, you can type it into this app and it will tell you whether or not it's safe. So for instance, just looking at the top of the list, E100. So if you look at a food label and it says E100 as part of the ingredients, that's curcumin and turmeric, and it's yellow, which means that it is suspicious, basically, it says, and then it gives you a bit of a description about it, and the community has the opportunity to make any notes or make comments against that item as well. And when I started reading food labels, I found it really good to go to, because it just sort of gave me an idea on whether or not it was safe if I had to buy the product. So of course, you know, I always try and buy products that don't have any, you know, funny numbers or anything in it, and I like to get them as natural as possible. But if I do buy something that, you know, has got a preservative in it or something like that, I want to know if that preservative's safe, and I want to know a little bit more information about it. So it's a really good tool to have, and especially when you're starting out reading food labels, they can be very daunting, so it's a good one to keep an eye on. So guys, the other thing that you want to focus on when looking at food labels is the serving size, and that's because what you might consider to be a usual serving size will have a certain amount of calories, carbohydrates, sugar and so forth in it. And if the company producing that item thinks that that's too much for a serving size, what they'll do is they'll decrease the serving size in the packet to make the product appear more healthy. The other thing that my coach mentioned, which I didn't actually consider, was paying attention to the amount of micronutrients in different products. So if, for instance, I had a product that said it's 70% of the daily intake of vitamin C and 25% the daily intake of iron in that particular product, for example, you know, we really want to make sure that we're getting the majority of our micronutrients through fresh fruit and vegetables and not through processed or packaged foods. So it's really good just to pay close attention to that, and then also make sure that you're eating sufficient amounts of fresh fruit and vegetables as well, which is pretty standard. So guys, the one thing that my health coach mentioned to me about food labels that I wasn't aware of, and I feel really taken advantage of by this. So if a food label says that it's low in calories, it can have 40 calories or less. If a food label, and this one really gets under my skin, if a food label advertises that it is sugar-free, it is allowed to have up to 0.5 grams of sugar in it, which doesn't help anybody who's trying to have a sugar-free diet or wants to reduce their intake of sugar. And I actually felt really taken advantage of. I was really annoyed about that. So it just goes to show, like, if you start looking at food labels, I mean, sugar in particular, you will realize just how many products have added sugar in them. And it's really important to read what's in those labels and kind of understand them, because food labels will try and tell you a story about a product. They'll try and tell you how it was grown, where it was raised, how it was caught, all of those sort of little details. And it's important to know what labels are certified and what labels aren't. Companies want you to think that their product is as healthy as possible so that you buy it, and they will use those product labels and the wording, i.e. low calories, no sugar, for instance, to make their product look better so that you are more likely to buy it. So just looking at certified and uncertified companies, certified labels include grass-fed, which means animals living on pasture, not treated with hormones or antibiotics. Organic is a certified label, and in order for any animal meat or dairy to be labeled organic, the animal must never have been given antibiotics, hormones, or GMO grasses. So GMO free, that's another certified label, which means genetically modified organisms, and naturally grown, that's also a certified label. And that's reserved for foods that are produced on small farms that abide by the certified organic methods of growing and selling locally. Non-certified labels include no hormones or hormone free, free range or free roaming. This is a really important one because food labels that are labeled free range or free roaming mean that the animals are allowed outdoors to engage in natural behavior, and it doesn't specify for what amount of time. So those animals can literally go outside for probably 10 minutes a day, and the rest of their time for that 24-hour period will be spent cooped up in a shed or a warehouse, and it's not probably what you expect from a free-range animal. So another non-certified label is natural. Natural means that it cannot contain any artificial colors, color ingredients, chemicals, preservatives, or artificial or synthetic ingredients. And last but not least, cage-free. That's another non-certified label. And that implies that hens are laying their eggs uncaged in barns or warehouses. So it doesn't mean that they're out there in the pasture like, you know, a normal sort of chicken would live their life. No, they are cooped up in warehouses or in sheds. They're laying their eggs cage free, but it doesn't mean that they're getting to engage in those natural behaviors. So guys, last but not least, we spoke about supplements, and the reason being is that everything that we've been learning over the last couple of weeks, or that I've been learning and you've been learning, is really about changing your lifestyle and your diet to give yourself the best chance at conceiving naturally as possible. So guys, if you're still struggling to conceive after a massive overhaul on lifestyle and diet, then it could be that you are deficient in some kind of, you know, mineral or substance, and that's why supplementation is so important, because if you are lacking in something, supplementation can help to give your body what it needs to take it to that next step and actually get pregnant. I'm just going to run through quickly what those supplements are that we spoke about, and then in another video, if you're interested, so please do let me know if you're interested, I will speak more in depth about those different supplements and what they are. But the supplements that my coach wanted to make sure that I was on was Fertile Garden. Now that is a Chinese herb. I am not on Fertile Garden, so that is something that I am going to look at getting to give myself the best chance at conceiving as soon as possible, basically. Pre and probiotics. So pre and probiotics, I eat a lot of fermented foods, yogurt with pre and probiotics in it, so I don't take an additional pre or probiotic. If you're not getting those fermented foods and those naturally sourced pre and probiotics, then it's really important to take a supplement. Fish oil multi, that's not something that I am taking at the moment, so I'm going to need to grab a fish oil multi. I do try to eat a lot of salmon, at least once or twice a week, and I do get in quite a few. Actually, I get in lots of nuts and seeds as well, so I'm hoping that I get the good omegas that I need from that. CoQ10, that's something that I take and I've been taking for a long time. Inositol. Inositol is typically helpful for women who have PCOS. I've not been diagnosed with PCOS, so I've not taken an inositol, but I might actually begin to take it because it is supposed to support healthy ovarian function and I'm just thinking that it can't hurt to start taking and to see if it does make a difference. Maca, that's something that I'm taking at the moment in high doses, and maca is actually a Peruvian root vegetable, and I'm taking a maca supplement daily. And last but not least, royal jelly. Royal jelly is great for improving egg quality, especially in women over 35, and I'm 37 now, so I definitely wanted to get that one in nice and early. So I've been taking that for a little while now. So I'm hoping that it helps. I know it doesn't help increase the amount of eggs that you've got, but hopefully it does help increase the quality of the ones that I have left. Okay guys, so week 10, how exciting. In week 10, we've obviously continued building on what we've been learning throughout the course. So there was a lot of information in the earlier weeks. We really sort of packed a lot of information in, and now that we're sort of in the later weeks, you know, we're really just building on what we've been learning in the earlier weeks, making sure that we're implementing all the different bits of pieces that I've learned over the last couple of weeks, just to make sure that I'm continually trying to be the healthiest version of myself. So guys, in week 10 we spoke about gut health. That's also something that we've spoken about on several occasions throughout the program already, but gut health is essential for managing hormonal conditions, and that's why we've touched on it a few times, and that's why it's so important to sort of keep talking about, because gut must have a really good balance of good and bad gut bacteria to remain healthy, and probiotics play a really big part in that. I mentioned before that I eat sauerkraut, kimchi is another probiotic, kefir, you can actually get a milk kefir or a water kefir. I've typically not had kefir because the only one that I can usually find at the shop is a milk-based kefir. I don't drink milk, but I am planning to buy myself some kefir stones, I think they're called, to make my own water-based kefir. And yogurt as well is a good pre and probiotic. So all of those, it's really important to get those into your diet as much as possible to keep that healthy gut microbiome going and flourishing, because that's what's going to keep you healthy throughout this process. Guys, just a couple of ways to tell if your gut microbiome needs help. Bloating, acne, if you notice that you've got some funky poop going on, that might be a way to tell that your gut microbiome needs some attention. Brain fog, headaches, if you're frequently ill, or if you have difficulty losing weight. If you notice any of those symptoms, guys, it might just mean that, you know, something is a little bit off, and you might need to pay attention to your gut microbiome, what's going on, and just see if you can do a few things to build its immunity up. And guys, last but not least, in week 10, we spoke about habit change. What is a habit? A habit is a settled or regular tendency to practice, especially one that is hard to give up. Now, I want to just read a couple of tips that my health coach gave me on habit change, because I think that you might actually find this useful. We spoke about the 3 R's of habit change. So the 3 R's of habit change are reminder, routine, and reward. So reminder is the trigger itself that initiates the behavior. The routine is the behavior itself, so the action that you take, and the reward is the benefit that you get from doing that behavior. So habits can be changed by following 7 simple steps. Now I'm just going to go through those simple steps with you, and obviously this is something that we can maybe talk about in a later video. If you are interested, just let me know, leave a comment down below. But the 7 steps of habit change are: cut yourself some slack, guys. I'm just going to tell you firsthand, you really do need to cut yourself some slack, because it doesn't matter how committed you are sometimes going to stumble and you're sometimes going to fall, and that is perfectly okay. I mean, I've made so many mistakes, you know, where I might have started changing one particular habit and then I've really screwed up, and you know, you just really have to go, you know what, I acknowledge I've screwed up, I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to try again. So let's do it again. So guys, cut yourself some slack. Identify the underlying cause. It's really, really important to identify, I suppose, the root cause that you need help with. And this goes back to understanding your big mofa that we spoke about in week 1, guys. If you haven't seen the week 1 video or the week 1 and 2 video, go back and have a look at that. Number 3, deal with the real problem. To give you an example, that you brush your teeth to avoid the dentist. You check your emails to help organize your day. So you want to make these habits, these little changes in your life to deal with the real problem at hand, not just for fun, all right? Number 5, write it down, guys. It is so important to write things down. It is such a powerful exercise, and it can really do wonders for little habits that you want to change or new things that you want to implement in your life. If you write them down, you've probably got a higher chance at achieving them and succeeding. Number 6, guys, get yourself an accountability partner. We all know how an accountability partner can help, how beneficial they can be. Number 7, give yourself time. Guys, I just want to stress that it takes about 30 days to change a habit, so it is so important to give yourself enough time to make actual change in your lifestyle and the new habits that you're trying to form. And when I say give yourself some more time, also go back to number 1, cut yourself some slack. It's okay if you screw up from time to time. Give yourself time and cut yourself some slack, because it does take time to change new habits. And number 8, last but not least, allow for slip-ups. Allow for slip-ups because they will happen. Identify the underlying cause, deal with the real problem at hand, write it down, and get yourself a buddy. Get yourself a buddy to help you make these habits lasting changes in your life. So guys, that's a wrap of week 9 and 10 with my fertility coach. If you have any comments, queries or questions, please leave them down below. I would really love to hear from you. I'd like to know what's resonating with you, or if there's anything in particular that you would like to see on my channel, please do let me know. So guys, until next time, see you later. Have a great day. Bye.